Welcome to the Starting Over podcast. I am your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos, and this is the show where we talk about the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. Uh, it's been a raw weekend, like grade A punch to the face. Your whole world changed weekend for me. For those of you who do not know, my co-founder, co-captain of Phoenix Nest, Maceo Sturdivant, passed away. And I'll do sort of like a tribute to him on a different video. Um, but to come to the crossing in the road where a person that you literally depended on um, is gone, and I'm not even Jess's girlfriend, but he was a man I depended on in multiple ways, uh, and a really good friend, and now I have to make a bunch of decisions, and there's some decisions that are I have to make a bunch of decisions that I really wasn't expecting to make at this stage. Um, and that is, I wouldn't say the tough part, in comparison to all the other things that are going on. It's rather easy. But when I look at the future that I had planned and the reality that is there, this is not what I wanted. And so we've had some Phoenix Nest team meetings, and we made some decisions, and we're still around. We're definitely still around, but this year, definitely more so now than ever, we're going to go hard. And I already had some stuff cooked up, but now it's like, forget that. Like, we're going to make something stronger. And it's not like, watch out, heroclix world, we're about to kick everybody's butt. It's not even like that. But there's some resolve elements there that are that are definitely present now that weren't necessarily present before. Uh, it hurts the team because Mace was really one of the top 15 players in the world. If you look at his record, if you look at the amount of rocks that he went to, you look at his placement in Rocktober, you look at, if it wasn't for my fault, he qualified for top 32 at, Origins. He's right there with me smiling on our fourth place finish with, singles for teams. He proved that he was an all-around solid competitor and threat. Even, hearing, Scott Crampton talk about his challenges against Mace is a statement of how strong of a player he was. So it's a rough weekend, and I found out Saturday, and today is Monday, and I wouldn't say I'm rapidly going through the stages of grief, but I'm doing pretty good, but not the best. So I really wasn't in a position to really record this weekend because really there's a lot of like just in-house stuff that had to be done. I don't know what's going to end up happening to help out Jess, which is Mace's girlfriend, because she's pregnant with Mace's kid. That stuff is coming in the future, and so she tells me what she needs. I will sort of let everybody know, and I know I've been contacted by several other people in the heroclix community looking to see if they can assist. So, real briefly, my eulogy of Maceo Sturdivant. He is one of the strongest players that I knew. A little indecisive, but when he was focused, he would clamp down harder than a bulldog. His skill was uncanny. His essence, simplified brutality. He didn't want to just be aggressive. He wanted to dominate, but dominate in a mechanical fashion. He saw the meta for what it was, and his instinct was better than any sort of Spider-Man's, sense tingling. If I was to compare us to the Justice League, he was Superman and I was Batman. And that's the best way of putting it. We're a dynamic duo. I'm the one doing the calculations, and he is the pure, strong muscle. He showed me a lot. He showed me what it was like living actively in the military. He showed me what it was like to sort of get out of my head and look at things for what they were. He showed me that you can make some tough decisions and still function in this game. He showed me that I had more stuff that I need to liquidate than I care to admit, and that I was pretty lazy on doing it. He was teachable and stubborn. Wise, but still made some really interesting mistakes. He had creativity. He had creativity, but he also had his favorites like all of us. When we decided on making the team name, I had some complicated, cool name that sounded great on paper. And he said, let's name it Eagle's Nest. And then I replied, just like Hitler's bunker, huh? And he said, nah, but still, I like the name. And I said, let's go a little bit more legendary, a little bit more fantasy. How about Phoenix Nest? And he said, yeah, let's go with that. I couldn't have a better co-founder. Because without him, I don't even think I would have gotten to the stage that I'm at now. So, to Maceo Sturdivant, one of the best players that heroclix ever had. One of the best players heroclix ever had. All right, so let's get into today's show. Today's show, we're going to do something. We're going to go cover the fast forces, and then we're going to start looking at the ID cards. And then we don't have access to the round table yet, or at least the teleporter does. So we're just going to go ahead and start looking at the shenanigans that you can do just basically with the ID cards, because I think we had more ID cards out. So we're going to look at the fast forces real quick and break some things down, and then go into the ID cards. All right, so with the fast forces, you have first off, you have the Superman. We have the 150 dial and then the 100 dial, and unfortunately, it doesn't really show us like what the 100 dial is line wise, but I'm going to speculate that it starts right at that 10 move hypersonic speed, 10 attack, 17 defense, close combat expert, which in all honesty is sort of a crappy combination because you can't use hypersonic speed and close combat expert together. But starting off, he has the trait World's Finest Heroes, and Superman is adjacent to a friendly character named Batman. Superman can use probability control, but only to re-roll an opposing character's attack roll. Now, you would think that this would be Batman, but, unfortunately, they put that on Superman. So it's sort of crappy, but we start off with that, he's able to prob opposing characters' role. But you would think Superman would be like, hey, I'm down for the cause. Let me, prob my opponents. I mean, prob my own roles because I'm Superman. And so, yeah, whatever. But then he has the special power, world's toughest. Superman can use invincible and willpower. So up front for 150, you're getting charged and then, click into hypersonic speed with willpower and invincible, which isn't bad, but you have no super strength whatsoever. And at 150, I'm sorry, we have bigger monsters in the game now, thanks to this set, that can do what Superman does for a 150 point value. Now at 100, again, there are other monsters that are way scarier. So is this good for a new player that, doesn't have prize support selection or even, spending a lot of money on the set? Yeah, this is good. But if you're looking at a more experienced player, this is really, really, really weird because you're saving this for really a Batman family game. And that's really what it is. So you're trying to bring a Superman TA into a Batman family team or into a Gotham City team. That's it. That's really it, because there are better Supermans that you can play. Now, I will also say there's this one like New Guy Knight Superman with the Batman team ability. Still boss, and way better than this guy. So if you have access to that Batman, old school players, I mean not Batman, that Superman, then definitely play that Superman. Otherwise, this isn't bad, but it's not great either. Next up is Batman, and we have and again, I'm going to just assume that the 50 point dial starts where the Leap Climb and Super Census is. And then the $100, of course, the 100 point line is at the beginning. But he has the trait World's Finest. If Batman is adjacent to a friendly character named Superman, Batman can use probability control, but only to reroll a friendly character's attack roll. So, yeah, you have a prob-ish, a prob light. But you also have that Batman family, Gotham City, martial arts, and Metropolis keywords, which is nice. So you can have a theme team with Batman and Superman. And so that's pretty cool. And you can end up playing them together for a solid either 250, 200. Yeah, 250 or 200 or even 150. Then you says, need an equipment drop at my location is the second trait. When building your force, you may include the World's Finest weapon drop without paying its cost. Now, this is the part that I like because at 50 points, you can get this weapon drop thing. But we'll look at the weapon drop in just a bit. But to say that you have a free weapon drop is great. At 50 points, you just have a 3-click, Batman ally team ability guy with 10 attack, 2 damage, and 5 range. And that's not magical. That's not magically delicious whatsoever. Then you have peak human conditioning. When Batman has no action tokens, he can use running shot. At a 5 range, When he has 1 action token, he can use charge, which, again, When he has 2 action tokens, he can use sidestep, which means he can sort of get out the way. Then you have World's Toughest. Batman can use toughness and willpower, which is nice, but you're only getting willpower for 4 clicks. And once you get knocked onto your Super Senses click, you don't have that wonderful willpower. And that's not beautiful bean footage. Okay. Then you have, of course, there's a starting line starting on click 4. Second starting line on click 4. So never mind. So you do get 1 click of that peak human and that 1 click of the World's Toughest in Outwit. So that is worth 50 points. That's worth 50 points. Okay. Now, that weapons drop thing, again, we'll look at that in a little bit. But if you're paying 50 points for those 4 clicks, then yeah, that's worth it. But if the starting line starts at that Leap Climb, then it's definitely not worth it. But again, we do have better Outwit and utility figures. That Jewel, for example, or Jessica Jones or whatever she is way better if you're looking for a cheap Outwit because she's 25 points, 2 clicks, and she doesn't fly, but I think she's stealth. So it's still really good. All right, so let's go ahead and look at Poison Ivy, full dial stealth, 3 clicks of poison, 3 clicks of smoke cloud, barrier, exploit weakness, and then some shape change. There's some ESD with 2 clicks of ESD in there. She starts off at 75 points, or player at her lower point value for 25 points, and that starts on click 5. And that means you're going to get 2 clicks for 25 points, which is going to give you Smoke Cloud, Barrier, and Shape Change, and Stealth, which isn't bad. It's not bad. Definitely if you're looking for cheap Barrier. But we already looked at, the chases. You're better off with Green Lantern and paying that 5 more points so that you can get Ignor's sort of line of fire Perplex for friendlies. So that's a lot better. But again, this is mobile, and Green Lantern is not. All right, so you have a trait which is I do love crashing the party. Poison Ivy can use mind control. When Poison Ivy is adjacent to a friendly character with a printed team symbol, modify her defense value by +1. And so that's, okay, cool. So she can increase her stats just by being adjacent to a friendly character with the printed team symbol. Now, what also is interesting is this. You can sort of play some weird shenanigans here because you have energy shield deflection. You can get defend, okay? And then you can get somebody that sits next to you and get a +1 defense. And so all of a sudden from range, you're capped defense. It's not going to be hard for her, definitely when you start talking about replacement values, to get like a 22 defense in a standard modern constructed format. In limited or no tactics is going to be a lot tougher. So, it'll definitely be a lot tougher. You can see her at an easy 19-20. Definitely, 20 if she's rocking with Captain Marvel and another figure. So it has to be Captain Marvel and another figure that has a printed team ability. Okay, so that's not bad. 75 points, is this worth it? No. 25 points, yes. So there is some goodness there, definitely when you're looking at having the option for both Smoke Cloud and Barrier and Stealth and Shape Change. So she does have a little bit of built-in survivability, but overall, would I say pass? No. I can see her abuses on scientist teams. Definitely 25-point cheapo figure. You really haven't had anything that good for scientist teams since the research assistant. So not bad. Next up is my boy Nightwing with Outsiders TA, 50 and 25 points. He has a trait which makes him the wild card, which is really strong considering he has Outsiders. Then you have Midnight Roof Runner. Nightwing can use Leap, Climb, Sidestep, and Stealth. And his second starting line starts on click 4. Now, in my opinion, are you going to see this 25-point Nightwing? Yes. Yes, 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 and more yes. The 50-point Nightwing, it depends on how the team is coming in. Now, the problem is that you're paying for 50 points, you're paying for 1 click of 3 damage and combat reflexes. And I don't really like that. And I know you're going to say, but Dark Logos, I'm stealth, and there's so much anti-stealth. But Dark Logos, if they don't have an anti-stealth, then they have to come up, and then I'm a 19, and then I can do shenanigans with Defend, which can make me a 21, and all that other cool jazz. Yes, I know. But really, I don't like that part of it. I do like the fact that I think Outsiders just has line of fire, and you just nope, you can't. You can't modify your stats. Now there's pros and cons here with that. The main pro is that there's a lot of still stat manipulation. The bad thing is there's a lot of characters. Now they're just you can't jack with my stats. Now with a lot of figures that are coming into the meta, not that just say hey, you can't jack with my stats. Outsiders is not as good from a defensive position, which means that I'm preventing you from jacking with my stats. But if I'm also trying to say hey, I'm stopping you from getting a ton of stat bumps, you're still looking at raw numbers issues. And there's a lot of just dumb level raw numbers that you can see a lot of problems. You're not seeing figures that we were seeing last year or 2 years ago where it was like, yeah, I got decent stats, but then when I do these things, I become a lot stronger. Then outsiders, wrecks those guys. But now it's just like, nope, look at my stats. I lay it on the table. You're going to stare at my stats. Look me in the eye. Don't look at my stats. Look me in the eye. You can't stop looking at my stats laying on the table. So yeah, that's pretty much that's the problem with Nightwing, is that the raw stat guys and gal figures that are coming through, they're wrecking shop, and they can't be jacked with. And they can't have, there's a lot of them that can't have their stats modified by opposing figures. So this is I know this is, initially I was like, this is great, but like my 15th look at it, I'm like, this is good, but this is not the broke strong that everybody thinks it is. So I'll just say that. Now you have a lot of mobility here: leap, climb, sidestep, stealth. You can't combine sidestep and leap, climb together, but you have the mobility to get to where you want to get to. But I do say the downside is just the damage value just consistently being so low. Like, that just sucks. So, it is what it is. All right, next up, Toy Master. Gotham City, Metropolis robot, scientist. Now, this is nice because he actually has the robot keyword. I'm not sure the other Toy Master does, but I'll have to check. Anyway, he has Hero Worship. Toy Master is a wild card, but can only copy team abilities from friendly characters of 100 points or more, which isn't a problem, definitely when you start looking at robot or scientist, keywords in particular. Then you have working out the variables. Toy Master can use probability control, but only to reroll a friendly character's attack roll. Now, is this good? Maybe. And here's why I'm saying that. Okay, you're paying 50 points for a wild card, so you better be wild card. Okay? All right, the other Toy Master, he's bumping and playing with stats. This one isn't, okay? Then you have a prop, but it only works on friendlies. And you have a TK and sidestep. Not that great. Energy shield deflection, okay. You got to click 2, perplex, makes you feel a little bit better. But overall, I really gotta say, this isn't that great, because when we start looking at our equal comparison of Fitz is giving me shield TA, okay, just straight up, and he produces Henry for free. So which would you rather have, Fitz and Henry, or a friendly only prop? Now, this could be coming in like, oh yeah, but I can go ahead and play him on my team and do all this stuff. But then I would also say is this: would you rather have a 25-point Atomica and a 25-point Mercury, or this? Now, I think Mercury is the TK Metal Man, but I might be wrong. Everything's still a little fresh. So think about it. Which would you rather have, a 25-point Atomica and a 25-point Mercury, or Toy Master? And that's up to you. But I only really see him coming in on those robot theme teams because, yeah, he feels that void that robot really needs, which is some cheap support. Okay. Next up is Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is mastermind stealth. And then he's got I've got files on everyone. Lex Luthor can use leadership as if he was 150 points, and outwit. When he succeeds using leadership, friendly characters within 8 squares can use sidestep and modify their attack values by +1 this turn. This is sort of crappy. Now, he has the police team ability, and I understand how some people be like, yeah, wild card, but I'm like, no, like there's better characters to get that off of. But then they're like, but mastermind, but no, no, there's too much precision strike around for you to be like, yeah, mastermind. Then you're like, but you get sidestep and +1 attack. Nah, man, nah. Like this isn't worth it because you still have to roll. You have a 1 in 3 chance of that going off. So I can't really be down for that. Okay. So overall, like the set's not bad. Fast Forces is not bad. You know, cheap. I mean, I think the big surprise for everybody is Poison Ivy because Poison Ivy at 25 points is actually meta. Uh, the Batman, is actually meta. The Superman, is probably meta, depending if that first click is that hypersonic speed click or not. But it could be that charge click. Now I'll say this. I'll be 100% honest. If his 100-point click starts on that charge 11 attack, willpower, invincible, close combat expert, yeah, he's meta. But if not, if it starts on that hypersonic speed, it's questionable. But I look at this and I see it filling in certain holes, but not really like big gaping holes in the meta. It's very niche sort of stuff. There's enough pieces in here that are worthwhile to use, but you're looking at, I have a very particular problem that I'm trying to solve, such as Toy Master with your robot teams. He is crap for your scientist teams because there's better stuff that you can get for 50 points. So now let's look at the weapons drop. At the beginning of the game, roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled and turn the dial to that click number. So you have these different clicks, and so you have different combos. Equip. Give a friendly character in this square or holding this object a power action to equip it. So there's no rolling, it's just straight power action. Opposing characters can KO this object only by using it in an object attack. So someone can come in and pick it up, but it doesn't say that this is a heavy, a light, or ultra heavy. So let's just say effect. Give the equipped character a free action to choose one of the displayed powers. The equipped character can use the chosen power this turn, and at the end of your turn, roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled this turn, and this dial, and turn this dial to that click number. Now, let's look at the pairing. So we got what looks like Pulse Wave and Quake, okay, Enhancement and Empower, Exploit Weakness and Psychic Blast, Regen and Defend, Combat Reflexes, and Energy Shield Deflection, and Close Combat Expert and Range Combat Expert. So we have, for 8 points, we have a really good diversity. Now, why is this a huge thing? For limited, getting any of these powers almost any point in time is great. So I'm just being 100 about it. So the only problem is that if you're like, oh, I can't use Pulse Wave, well, you can use Quake. I'm just sitting here. I can't really use Enhancement. Can you get in a position to use it or Empower? Exploit Weakness or a Psychic Blast. I mean, you're able to do something. I know for myself, like Regen or Defend, both of those are really good. Now, here's the question I'm wondering is, since this does have an equip effect, can you use it in limited? I got to ask Howard on that. But it is an object, but it is being equipped. But anyway, there's rules against entities, but I'm not just sure if it was just like no equipping period or what. Anyway, so if we sort of step back and we look at this again, can you depend on getting any of these effects? No. But if you get something that you need, you got it for free. Now, would I say, get a character that doesn't have any of these powers? No. But you could tack it on to, any of the pick-a-power characters and get a lot more bang for your buck. I definitely see Engineer like picking this up and becoming a monster. Like, oh, now I have, you say I have pulse wave. Well, let me get energy explosion as well. Oh, I have enhancement. Oh, I'll have prob and make sure I running shot right next to this person. Like, yeah, there's so much stuff that you can do. All right, let's go ahead and start looking at the ID cards. Now, the ID cards, we sort of touched on it before, but I think we have all the ID cards now. Yes, we do. So, oh, and we do have the teleporter. So I can talk about the teleporter. All right. Uh, so let's look at it one by one, and then we're going to go ahead and have like my first look technically at the round table, or sorry, the teleporter. First off, we have Superman. Superman can use invincible. Like I said before, this is great because it gives us a easy, accessible, invincible buff for our entire team. Also, there is a crap ton of Supermans that you can call in. So many Supermans. So I definitely see Superman Blue. I see the hypersonic speed shifting focus Superman, the new 200-point super rare Superman. I see all those guys just coming in real frequently. Uh, those are definitely going to be meta staples for this card. Next up is Batman shifting focus. Batman gives you barrier, smoke cloud, and stealth. So it is nice that you're able to generate like just tons of smoke cloud and to use stealth to defend yourself. I wish that it just was like you possess like the Batman team ability instead of stealth. That way you can do some other shenanigans for a turn. My Beta Ray build team that comes out during Golden Age to bring death and destruction upon my foes will love this card. But the Batman's definitely Trinity War Batman stock just shot through the roof. Like he's a $40 piece now. Just it's too good. Next up is the Flash Barry Allen, modify speed value by +3. Yeah, again, you're just going to summon in KC Flash. That's it. There's really no other Flash that I see you summoning in other than KC Flash. The lower point Flash is maybe Jay Garrick Flash, but I don't see it on a consistent basis unless you're like really desperate and your team needs a lot of mobility. But yeah, so the other issue, I think we sort of talked about this before, is like you summon in these cards, these guys are going to zip off, and you have to be within 5 squares. And with a Flash, you want to just send a cruise missile down the map. But once you get 5 squares away, he goes poof. So there's a problem. So I don't see this as a strong meta option. What was that one guy? He also gave you like +3 movement. Crap. And he was probably going to be on my Black History Month team too. From Avengers Assembled. I forgot his name. But he was good because he was like carrying people. So anyway, there's advantages and disadvantages to this. All right, next up is Green Arrow. Real name Oliver Queen, of course. Modify attack value by +2 when making a ranged combat attack. This is money. This is money. You really didn't get that too much in the Justice League. In the Avengers cards. And you got a lot of +1. So I have some ID cards. And I'm going to or you know what, I could just open a new tab and then look at ID cards. But pretty much you didn't get like a +2 attack. Like you just didn't. And so because of that, you had a lot of like get +1 attack. Get +1 ranged attack. +1 melee attack, or +1 attack and damage, or +1 attack or damage. You got that. You got that a lot. But you didn't get like, hey, homie, plus 2 attack. You know, that's real good. Now some people might also think like, oh my gosh, my Kingdom Come Batman is going to be so broken. And then the answer to that is no, he's not, because he only can be modified by another figure with the Kingdom Come team ability, and technically you're having your stats modified by a ID card. Ba, ba, ba. And oh yeah, Manifold. Manifold is what gave you the +3 movement speed. And I forgot, like, Manifold's father or relative was Gateway. And if anybody that read Generation X, remember the one Australian dude that swung the thing around his head, he would make portals and stuff, and he by far was like one of the most eclectic, coolest characters that just was like a guy in a loincloth that just showed up at like these random places in space and time, and you're like, what is he doing here? Like, I really would like a gateway click. Like, you just like, you know, sort of like what Spiral does after the errata. You know, I would like that. That would be cool. Anyway, going on. But you're going to see a lot of people just summon in the Green Arrow that can do a bunch of weird crap and then blow you up. That's all you're going to see. So this card, of course, is meta. Next up is Aquaman. Okay. Anyway, Aquaman. Inspiration has a dolphin transporter team build symbol. Modify combat values by +1 when occupying water terrain. Now, again, this is just Namor. Now, there's only really one Aquaman that I see everybody playing, and that's the one from War of Light. Maybe the one from Trinity War, but you know, I'm not too gung-ho on that one. But overall, this is good. Because it gives people another chance to say, like, you can access what was a con exclusive, you know, for a common figure, which is good. All right, next up is Batgirl, and it's modified attack value, just flat attack value by +1. So that's okay, cool. I can see that being like a common character that you might summon in, but we have a problem. We really don't have a Batgirl or Oracle that's modern. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our trusty heroclix computer and type in Batgirl. And we're going to see, boom, Batman set. Yep, that sucks. Next up, we're going to type in Oracle. And then we're going to see Streets of Gotham. Yep, so no. So we haven't had any of that. That one, people are going to be like, why? Why? And it's like, well, because they wanted to, you know, help your Golden Age teams or something. I don't know. Anyway, meta for Golden Age, because you can access that Oracle that allows you to have her take a power action, then move her, you know, your homies around if they share a keyword with her and all the other jazz. So definitely good for your Justice League teams, you know, out there. Anyway, you also have that one Batgirl from No Man's Land, that Charge Flurry monster. Yeah, she still exists. And if you don't have her, go on eBay and get one, because she should be hella cheap. No Man's Land Batgirl. Great figure. Next up is Black Canary. You have modified attack value by +1. I think the only Black Canary that's modern age is the one from the prize support. So I don't know. I don't know if she'll be showing up. Then there's Blue Beetle, modify range value by +2. So I say heck to the Isno, unless you have some really cool effect that you need to use. I don't think that one's going to show up because Blue Beetle right now sucks for modern age. Then you have Power Girl, inspiration modify attack value by +2 when making a close combat attack. So this is good. So I can see her showing up. But her value is a bit high, so it's going to be very interesting in how she shows up. Next up is Stargirl, modify defense value by +1. So that's okay. Now, where this really comes in is that we have a lot of effects that's just like modified defense, modified defense, modified defense. So you can create this sort of little minor bubble for one turn where it's just like, yeah, I'm +3 defense. And this is going to, you're going to have to pulse wave me. And if you don't pulse wave me, I'm going to get all these plus defenses. What are you going to do? So that can create some very strong fortress situations. Definitely would defend. Definitely a card that you can easily see played with the KC Shazam at 30 points or whatever. All right, next up is Steel. Made me cry. Modify defense values by +1. Even his ID card sucks, so yeah. Now again, we can stack Stargirl and Steel's inspirations together. So one turn, poof, pop out Stargirl. Next turn, pop out Steel to just sort of solidify our defensive position. Next up is Supergirl. Modify damage value by +1. Not bad, not bad at all. I can see with the Supergirls that we have how she will be a popular card. So let's just look at Supergirl real quick. And then we can see that we have from Superman Wonder Woman set, and we also have the one from this set. So we have the Supergirl from, that's the standard, and we have the Prime. So I will say this, and I know some people might be like, really, like you're looking at it like that? Like, yeah, I really think the Supergirl is going to be one of those cards that people pop when they're like, yeah, I just want to Alpha Strike you for a crap ton of damage. Or I just want to make sure that I can get someone in there to, do a bunch of damage to you. That's it. I don't see anyone actually looking at her like, yeah, I can get a +1 damage. Okay, next up is Atom, or the Atom or whatever. Inspiration may be given a free action to use tiny size until your next turn. Now, this is nice because you can shrink your whole team or specific characters on your team so they can be carried. So that's nice. I like that. But you're also at the same type of situation of using Ant-Man. Now, let's look at it at the Atom. So we just want to type Atom. Okay. So out of all of the atoms that we have, we really only have one that we can use, and that's the Colossal. Okay, and he's the Atom. So, like, all the other atoms, there's only one Atom, just Atom, and that's in Origins. He's in Origins. I mean, the Origin set. So, unless you're going like all the way back and playing Experience Atom at 52 points, or Vet Atom at 64 points, which Vet Atom at 64 points wasn't that bad. You're sort of hosed with this card. Like, this really favors Golden Age players. Unless they're coming out with some Atom character. Who knows? Alright, next up is Boost to Gold. You can use probability control when targeting opponents with an attack. This sort of helps also stacking with little Boost to Gold's effect. So you're sort of stacking your probs up. So that's nice. Alright, so this is meta. This is meta, definitely. Then there's Cyborg. Inspiration can use Ignore Hindering for line of fire. Modify attack value by +1 when making a ranged combat attack. So this gives you technically, improved targeting. And then you get +1 attack, which is better just overall to allow you to, shoot Nick Fury. Then there is Dead Man, which surprises me why he gets an ID card. He can use Steel Energy with both close and range combat attacks. Now, for all those people who's like, there's no modern age, Ares, okay, we can stop crying now. We actually can use that effect in a modern age game with Dead Man. So this is good. Okay, this is good right here. And you will see this play because Dead Man is annoying. And your opponent cannot score points on him. So that's the other advantage. It's like if you KO any of these other figures, your opponent scores 5 points for the card and the additional points for KOing the figure. But if your opponent KOs Dead Man, it doesn't matter. They can't KO Dead Man. All right, next up is Firestorm, which it says modify attack and damage values by +1 when making a ranged combat attack. Now, this is another example of a guy that you summon in that your opponent, if they're playing a resource, cannot KO if they're assigned a resource. So yeah, this is definitely a good card. But then when you start looking at modify attack and damage by +1, you're looking at Rick Jones level. So you will see this card. Okay. The problem is that in a modern age 300 points, Firestorm is not cheap. So let's go ahead and look at Firestorm. Okay. So we have Justice League Trinity War. In the main set, he's 140. And that's the one that's like, hey, guess what? If you have a resource, you can't hurt me. Then we have the 135, which is that much cheaper. You know, he has the ability to turn, terrain into other terrain. Okay. Yeah, and he gets outwit and perplex. So I can see how that we'll call him too many variables. Firestorm could be used, and the chemical formula Fireman can be used. All right, so I mean Firestorm. Fireman is from Mega Man. All right, next up is Hawkman. Modify attack and damage values by +1 when making a close combat attack. Yeah, okay. This is pretty much what Firestorm is, except on melee. So yay. All right, so then you have Katana. You can use Blaze Claws of Fangs. If this character can already use it, they can use Flurry. Now, Katana is broken because now you're giving me a character that can use Blaze Claws Fangs, Flurry, and then you can just combine that with the Axe construct and be like, hey, I can use Blaze Claws Fangs. Now I can use Flurry. And for that one turn, you found a way to make KC Superman the bane of everybody's existence. Thank you very much and good night. All right, next up is Nightwing. Inspiration has leap, climb, improved movement, ignores hindering terrain, and improved targeting, ignores hindering terrain. So, you get leap, climb, you get the ability to ignore hindering terrain for targeting and for movement. I mean, it's really nice. There's enough Nightwings for you to summon in that it's okay. I can see this coming in, definitely being used. Shazam! Inspiration, grant friendly characters quintessence team ability. Yep, that's going down. That is going down so hard. Definitely with what was it? General Lang in the freaking meta, like hardcore, hanging out with Nick Fury and Jason of Sparta. Yeah, that's definitely going down. Vibe. Yeah, you're going to see Vibe. You can use Force Blast and Quake, but mainly just for Vibe's control effects. So yeah, I definitely see that coming. Vixen, you can use Super Senses, so you have access to that Spider-Man card. Nothing new there. Zatanna, you can use Phasing Teleport and the Justice League team ability. Now, this is nice because if you were like me and you like playing ants, you now have the ability to play this card in the Vision card and then summon in a crap ton of ants and then have them all move in one turn and then have them move again and make your opponent cry. All right, and yeah, here we go. The case incentive is the Wonder Woman card, and Wonder Woman allows you to use charge, modify your attack value by +1 when making a close combat attack. So pretty much the Hulk. Green Lantern, you can use energy shield deflection like Captain America. Whenever this character hits an opposing character, add an action to your action total. Now this is a little different. Now this here is Strongola for a couple of reasons. Number one, you can summon any character named Green Lantern. Now let's look at how many characters just named Green Lantern are in modern age right now. Let's see. We have the one from Superman and Wonder Woman. So we have that Green Lantern. Okay. Which is, the Alan Scott, which is great. Then we have the one from the Fast Forces, which is still Alan Scott. Then we have the Trendy War Green Lantern. Then we have, yeah, Trendy War Green Lantern is Simon Baz. And then the Green Lantern Recruit does not count. But yeah, we have a nice character selection of Green Lanterns and Hal Jordan. So yay. Now what they should have done is they should have gave us the option like using Hal or John or Kyle, but they didn't because they probably want to sell that to us later as a con exclusive. Yay. Okay, Martian Manhunter, John Jones. You can use Shape Change and Stealth. Now this is nice because you stack both. Okay, so now you can stack your Batman card with your Martian Manhunter card. The downside, Martian Manhunter is insanely costed. So this is questionable. Red Tornado. This can go multiple ways. You can use telekinesis, but I don't see people using that too hard. But I do see folks being like, "Oh, you have Despotellis there. I'm going to take a power action. I'm going to summon in, Red Tornado, and Red Tornado is going to smack like Force Blast Despotellis away from us. Just boom! Like now, I don't have to worry about that. So, Red Tornado will be meta. All right, next up, you have Justice League Teleporters between 10 to 35 points. Justice League Teleporter costs 5 points. This means that you have to attach a minimum of 1 card. Yay. Up to 6 distinct ID cards may be attached to this resource by paying their point cost. ID cards may not be included on your force in any other way. So you can't attach Avengers ID cards now. But it does not say that you only can attach DC ID cards. Now, they'll have to errata that, but just saying right now, there's nothing saying that you can only attach DC ID cards. All right, here we go. ID cards are attached to the resource starting with ID slot 1, then filling each slot incrementally. Each ID slot with an attached ID card during force construction is called an active slot. Blah, 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 blah. Clicking the dial when you remove an ID card from the resource using its call and help ability, you may roll a d6 and turn this resource dial clockwise that many times, which is a little bit better. I think it's different than what the round table is. Nope, it's the same. When a friendly character takes damage, yeah, this is exactly like the round table. After action resolve, turn the resource dial once clockwise and turn a second time if the damage assigned to that character was 3 more. Yeah, this is exactly like the round table. This resource can't be clicked beyond dial 25. Scoring. Each time an ID card is removed from the resource, your opponent scores that ID card. The base cost of the resource is scored if no ID cards are attached. Now this is, I think, is slightly different than the round table because if you get to the end and summon in all the ID cards, I don't know if your opponent gets your resource or not. But anyway, this resource and any attached ID cards are scored if all friendly characters have been KO'd. Here we go. I can help right now. You may use any attached ID cards call in help ability, which is your first, I guess, special power, which is a little cleaner than the round table because you have to roll. Then I'm better suited for these. Oh gosh. Yeah, this is almost exactly like the round table. After revealing your force, but before placing characters in your starting area, you may replace a friendly character with an ID card. Yeah, of equal or less points from your sidelines. Yeah. Yeah. Call in a reservist at the beginning of your turn. If a parachute number is revealed and that ID slot is active and empty, you may place an ID card that's removed because you use this call in help ability into that slot. If you do, turn this resource dial once clockwise. Lending moral support at the beginning of your turn, you may choose a friendly character and roll a d6 and see. Yeah, this is exactly like the round table. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose an ID card to this, and you didn't choose last time, so your next turn friendly characters can use inspiration. Yeah, this is just like this is exactly 1-for-1 parity with the round table, except for I think I can help right now. And then let's just sort of verify that, because I have been lazy, but not that lazy. Uh, all right. Round table, show thyself. Show thyself. Round table. All right, here we go. Come on. Come on. All right, here we go. Yep, I can help right now. It's there. Yep. So this is they didn't even try. They didn't even try. Now, here's my commentary. And all of this can be fixed in the future. I am going to tell you something that I hope is wrong. I hope from within the heart of my hearts that this is wrong, but I'm probably right. What you're going to do is you're going to determine what effect makes my team broken. Okay? Just full on broken. And then you're going to play 2 cards with that effect. Okay? So let's just use one that's real easy. Let's just say Superman ID card, Wonder Man ID card. It says ID card. It does not say Marvel ID card or DC ID card. It just says ID card. So I can use a Marvel or DC ID card. Just per its wording. There is nothing limiting me from doing that. Okay? So I stack Wonder Man on my dial. Okay? I stack Superman on my round table. Okay? I then summon in some other like good summons. Let's just say like Triathlon ID card, Hellcat. Who else is on here? So I'm not just on Marvel. Booster Gold and Dead Man. Okay, cool. So I got Booster Gold, Dead Man, Hellcat, and Triathlon, Wonder Man, and Superman. All right, so I have 6 characters. I'm going to try my best to live on Power 2, which will permanently give me Invincible. I have no reason not to spam my 4 guys out there that are going to blitz and do, attacks, just so that I can hurry up and get to 2 so my team has Invincible. Now, I know some of you might say, but Dark Logos, there's aggressive teams that will be in your face to make sure that you won't have enough time to build up in 2, and that's how the meta's going to adapt. I fully understand that. Then Nick Fury can just say, you can't use Invincible. Cool. I can use my other defensive powers. But the fact is, if I'm dealing with any other character that's not Nick Fury, or somebody that says I can't use Invincible because they possess Invincible, like or Peggy Carter or the Orange Battery, I can go back and forth between Superman and Wonder Man. And there's nothing my opponent can do about it. They can say comic purity. They can say, hell, they can say spirit of the game if all they care about. But there's nothing on this card that says you must use a DC ID card. You could come up with Ninja Turtle ID cards and put them in these little boxes, and you could still put it on the teleporter. Okay? There's no requirement for you to have like Justice League Team Ability or Justice League Keyword or any of that jazz. Somewhere in your keyword, or Super Buddies or Justice League International. None of that. Okay, so here's the thing. It really doesn't matter if it's the round table or the teleporter. They're both literally interchangeable. There's nothing distinguishable about this resource at all. Okay? So what this tells me is, okay, I don't have to get it. I got a round table. All right? I have a round table. The only reason, and I do mark this by saying the only reason for you to get this is for thematic fun, or unless WizKids makes an errata. Other than that, there's no reason to get it if you already have a round table. Because the ID cards are interchangeable. You can just put the ID cards on both resources. Because the wording is exactly the same. Okay, so let's prove it. Avengers Roundtable costs 5 points. Up to 6 distinct ID cards may be attached to this resource by paying their point cost. ID cards may not be included in your force in any other way. Boom, straight up there. You know what's even stupider? Let's look at the Quinjet. Force construction. This resource costs 5 points. Quinjet may be played without paying. This cost. But if you do, this dial is ignored. The resource must be assigned to the Quinjet. Okay. When you remove an okay, blah 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 blah. When give the Quinjet a free action and choose an ID character on your sideline of equal or less points than the resource dial indicates. Boom! I got a Superman card. Summon in freaking Superman. Quinjet, shuttling around the Justice League, one click at a time. All right, so I know some of you are like, man, Dark Logos, this is going to get fixed. It's not right. Blah blah blah. That's not what they mean. Blah blah blah. I understand that, but let's take this another step further. Let's just look at straight raw playing ID cards. Now I can bust out a Thor ID card and summon in female Thor. I can bust out a Black Widow ID card with my 200-point character and summon in, Thor Widow. Oh, and guess what? I can play a Superman card and summon a 200-point hypersonic speed monster beat stick Superman. How about that for you? Yeah, America. So it's a bit silly. It's just a tad bit silly. Now, do I understand why WizKids did it? Yeah, because there was nobody there to say, like, hey, buddy, do you really want to, like, copy paste the text? And then they're like, yeah, because it's going to sell, and they don't know what it did until after they bought their product. And on top of that, we don't have to do any play testing for it because we already did play testing for it. And we don't have to worry about it being super different and the Marvel fans getting pissed off. And we can use the same mechanics that we did before, and then they'll buy it, which is true. There is nothing new from any of this. Any of this. It's all rehashed, maybe except for 2 things, maybe 3 cards. +2 attack at range, and the fact that you can get Quintessence, and it wasn't on that insanely hard to get Captain Marvel ID card. That's it! Everything else you can get. Okay? And so... Oh, no. The one that gave you, if you have Blaze Cross Face, you could use Flurry. That's the other unique one. Okay, so really, this is nothing that spectacular in terms of R&D. This is a cash grab. And I'm sorry, the main people who are going to profit are third parties. It's not going to be the stores. It's going to be third parties. They're going to fully profit off of this. Because, again, your meta players that were like, yeah, I can play these 2 different universe ID cards, and that's not going to cause any problems, and I can play a battery or this Quinjet. Yeah, I'll do that. My Quinjet summons in Wonder Woman and Batman, the KC versions. Oh yeah, I'll do that. My Quinjet can summon in a permanent Shazam on top dial. Oh yeah, I'll do that. My Quinjet can summon in, a full point, very stupid level Superman. That's a chase. Yeah, I'll do that. Oh, my Quinjet can summon in a Wonder Woman that minuses, the attack value. If you try attack and damage value, you try to attack anybody that's lower points than her, and I can get that for, 5 points, yeah, I'll do that. So it's unintended consequences when you don't follow that reading rainbow, sort of philosophy. Just take a look. It's in a book. Like just literally take a look. It's in a book. You wrote the book, whiz kids. Just take a look. It's in a book. Reading rainbow. I can't go anywhere. But hopefully where we're going now is to balance land, because this all has to be errated so hard. And you know what? It's not. Not until after Origins. I'm just going to be 100 with you. Unless like this becomes a big stink in the Rock format, where they're going to be like Marvel ID cards on Roundtable, DC ID cards on the teleporter. You can mix them if you just have the ID cards on the side, but you're going to have to use the proper teleporter or a Roundtable for the universe. Other than that, there's no reason to have one or the other to have both if you have one or the other. Just being 100. So anyway, I know we've hit that hour mark. I see the abuse coming. I see the abuse coming. It's bad. It's coming. Real quick. Streaky. That sucker's OP. Hypersonic speed, precision strike, tiny 18 defense with super senses and toughness. And this cat has claws. When adjacent opposing character is moved or placed after actions resolve, you may place Streaky adjacent to that character. Streaky does not require opponents to break away. Like, he just says screw you and your running shot. He's just like, you're not getting away. I'm stopping that right now. Tying your butt up. So anyway, you combine her with that one Superman's aunt, and then you make him a wild card. Make Streaky a wild card. Anyway, that's it for today's show. Thank you for listening. I know there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Depending on the funeral for Mace, I will or will not be having a show up this weekend or the following Monday or whatever, just because I'll be traveling and trying to get my stuff back together. I'll be dropping ducats to get a flight out, if I can get a flight out. That part is rough. I hope it's on a weekend, because if it's on a weekend, then I don't have to miss work. If I have to miss work, screw it. I just have to miss work. That's how it goes. But it's one of those, like, I'm in that day and out that day or the next day at the worst, because I really can't afford a hotel and a flight to end. And like, that's, yeah. I have money saved, but not baller status, so. Oh, dude. Anyway, that's it. You can follow me on Twitter at StartOverPod. It came from outer space. It told me, man, everybody has, ID cards in space. That's how we know what planet to send your body back to. Oh. You can find out my random music on the Twitter. You can also email me at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. If you wish to opine, keep it pithy, keep it interesting, keep it awesome, baby. I know for some people that found out that Mace died on Facebook and other means, thank you for emailing me and sending your condolences. For other commentary and the buy list, of course, when it goes up into HC Realms and properly, I'm going to put up the buy list. You can check out the startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. And then if you'd like to donate to the show, feel free to donate through the PayPal. So yay. You can also buy a Starting Over Podcast t-shirt by clicking the link below this video. And also get a Phoenix Nest t-shirt if you are so interested. You can be a Phoenix Nest super fan. All right. And in the future, I might have some of the guys on. and you might hear us talk about the meta or not. Initially, this week I was planning on having a show with my coworker Jake, and we were going to talk about is 400 points and higher, is everything meta? Uh, and we're going to debate back and forth because we have different opinions on it. That was the goal for this week. Then all the stuff came out. Then unfortunately, uh, all the other things this weekend happened. So that show will probably be coming soon, but not super soon. All right, that's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being patient. And remember, we all have to start over sometime.